The elevator stopped between the 6th and 7th floors at 2:14 a.m. No alarms. No jolts. Just a soft mechanical hum that faded into silence. When maintenance finally forced the doors open 6 hours later, the man inside was already dead. His body was upright, back against the mirrored wall, feet planted flat on the floor. His head tilted slightly to the side, as if he'd grown tired of standing and decided to rest. There were no visible injuries. No blood. No torn clothing. Nothing that suggested panic or violence. The emergency button was untouched. The floor panel told a stranger story. Every button was unlit. No destination selected. The doors had closed, and the elevator never moved again. Security footage showed the victim entering alone at 2:13 a.m. He stepped inside, turned halfway toward the panel, and then froze. Not startled. Not alarmed. Just still. The doors slid shut. No one followed. No one exited. The building's overnight guard didn't notice anything wrong until morning. The elevator simply showed as inactive. A technical issue, he assumed. One of many in an aging building. By the time the doors were opened, the silence had already done its work. The victim was identified as Elliot Marr, 42, an accountant who worked late and kept to himself. He lived alone. No known enemies. No criminal history. The kind of man who vanished without leaving ripples. The medical examiner ruled out heart attack within minutes. Elliot's heart had stopped, yes, but not naturally. There were faint petechial hemorrhages along the eyes and upper chest. Subtle. Easy to miss. Pressure had been applied. But the cabin told a different story. No overturned items. No scuff marks. No fingerprints other than Elliot's own. The elevator was a sealed room. 8 square feet of steel, glass, and quiet. No one else had been inside. At least not on camera. Investigators replayed the footage frame by frame. Elliot enters. He glances at the panel. His hand lifts slightly, then drops. His posture stiffens. His shoulders pull back, as if reacting to something behind him. But there was nothing there. The mirrors reflected only Elliot. No shadows. No movement. No second presence. The timestamp froze investigators in place. From the moment the doors closed to the moment his heart stopped, only 32 seconds passed. No emergency call. No struggle. No attempt to escape. Whatever happened in that elevator didn't look like an attack. It looked like compliance. Maintenance logs showed no mechanical failure. The elevator didn't stall because something broke. It stalled because it was never told where to go. Someone or something had interrupted the process before a single floor could be selected. Inside Elliot's pocket, investigators found his phone. Screen off. No missed calls. No emergency attempt. But his last opened app was unusual. A voice recorder. It had been opened at 2:13 a.m. and stopped recording at 2:14. The file was only 19 seconds long. The first 10 seconds contained nothing but breathing. Controlled. Measured. Then a sound. Soft. Close. Not a voice exactly. More like air being displaced. As if someone leaned in close enough to speak but chose not to. Elliot inhaled sharply. The recording ended. No fingerprints were found on the recorder beyond his own. The elevator control panel was wiped clean. Not aggressively. Just enough to remove anything recent. A careful erase. Whoever did this knew the cameras. Knew the blind spots. Knew the timing. And most importantly, they knew how to kill someone without leaving a scene. By the end of the day, the building was reopened. Tenants returned. The elevator resumed service after inspection. People stepped inside, pressed buttons, and rode past the space where Elliot Marr had died without knowing it. But one detail kept investigators from closing the case. The elevator logs showed a single override. Command issued remotely at 2:13 a.m. Not from maintenance. Not from security. from inside the building. Someone had stopped the elevator on purpose. And they had done it without ever stepping inside. The override command didn't belong to the elevator. That was the first thing investigators understood when they pulled the system logs in full. The signal that halted the cabin wasn't issued from the control panel, nor from the maintenance console in the basement. It came from a subnetwork tied to the building's smart infrastructure, one designed for climate control, lighting, and access permissions. Someone had piggybacked a command through a system that wasn't supposed to talk to the elevators at all. It took precision, familiarity, and time. Elliot Marr had been dead for less than a minute when the override locked the cabin in place. The doors sealed. The emergency system remained inactive. The elevator became what it was always designed to be, but rarely used as one. A quiet, airtight box. The medical examiner returned to the body with a new focus. If there had been no physical struggle, then the cause had to be internal. Pressure. Restriction. Interruption. They found it on the second pass. A faint abrasion beneath Elliot's jawline. Almost invisible. Not a bruise. Not a cut. A line, shallow and clean, running horizontally where the carotid arteries split. Something thin had been used. Not a cord. Not a wire. Something wide enough to distribute pressure evenly. Something designed not to leave marks. Inside the building's maintenance closet on the 7th floor, investigators found a missing item logged weeks earlier and never reported. A flexible HVAC inspection strap. Silicone-lined. Used to secure temporary duct seals. Lightweight. Quiet. Strong enough to stop blood flow in seconds. Security footage showed no one entering the elevator with Elliot, but it did show someone else leaving the building moments before. At 2:11 a.m., 2 minutes before Elliot arrived, a woman exited through the side stairwell. Hood up. Head down. Face never visible. She didn't run. She didn't hurry. She walked like someone finishing a routine. Her access badge identified her as Nina Calder, a building systems contractor. 36. Recently reassigned. Recently overlooked. Nina had worked on the building's smart integration the month before. She knew which systems spoke to which. She knew how to route commands through secondary pathways without triggering alerts. She also knew Elliot. They'd dated briefly, quietly, until he ended it. Digital forensics filled in what Elliot's life never advertised. He had been blackmailing her, threatening to expose a professional violation that would have ended her career. She hadn't reported it. She'd tried to negotiate. The voice recorder made sense now. She had been waiting. When Elliot stepped inside the elevator, the doors closed as usual. The override froze the cabin. The lights remained on. No alarm sounded. From the service hatch above the ceiling, accessible from the adjacent stairwell, Nina lowered the strap. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The mirrors meant Elliot could see himself. Not her. Panic would have escalated the situation. Silence kept him still. 19 seconds. That was all it took. Afterward, she retracted the strap, wiped the panel, exited through the stairwell, released the override once the system registered a fault. The elevator remained inactive, sealed with its secret inside. She thought the silence would protect her. She didn't count on the logs. She didn't count on the recorder. She didn't count on the space between floors preserving the truth. Nina Calder was arrested at her apartment 3 days later. She didn't deny it. She didn't fight it. She said only one thing when they took her in. He never screamed. The elevator resumed service the following week. People stepped inside without knowing they were standing in the exact place where a man had died without a sound. The case was closed quietly. But the building never felt the same again. Because elevators are meant to move. And when they don't, someone made that choice. If you're drawn to stories where silence hides the truth, subscribe to Silent Evidence Files. This channel documents fictional crime cases where evidence tells the story people tried to erase. New full-length crime audiobooks are released regularly. Listen closely. The quiet details always speak last.